Welcome, jewelers. Welcome all. Episode 15 here of the Jewelers Podcast. My name's Mega, and I'm back here today with Daggs, and it's just us two today. We're going to be doing a little duo show here today. I do have an announcement to make about Squanch. He is leaving the podcast for the time being, but we've been talking to him, and he still wants to talk crypto, so potentially look out for a crypto cast coming from the Jewelers. Could be Squanch alone, could be Squanch and a few others. We don't know, but that's in early talks. So, anyways, it's me and Daggs here today. Daggs, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm finally moved in to my house. Things are starting to slow down a bit, which is nice. Getting comfortable with the new job, and I'm happy. I'm happy for Squanch. Um, he was a trader before DFK, and DFK was just kind of things that drew him in, and he's kind of getting back to his roots. So so I'm happy for him. I'm looking forward to some of the things that he's got coming in the future. How about you? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good today. Feeling good. It's good weather out here, so living life. And I want to thank Squanch for all his time, and of course he's always going to be a good friend of ours, and we're always chatting. And like you said, like a lot this bear market, a lot of people are shifting gears and getting back to maybe their roots and um, maybe shying away from riskier projects. Not saying DFK seems to be a risky one, but um, I think they're a
Oh, it
strong
is for
project
sure.
still. Yeah, 100%. There's risk involved, but I think overall, from like the new projects sprouting up, I think they're a proven team. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I
But
get that.
but regardless, want to thank Squanch for all his time and amazing, immense knowledge of the crypto space. I definitely hope to hear the podcast that he potentially wants to make because he knows markets pretty well and he's been through it, so a lot of experience there. But regardless, let's get into today's topics. The top of which I think a lot of people are happy with is mining over in Crystal Vale. We have crystal mining, of course, mining your locked balance, and also the gold mining already in. I've done a little bit. I've done a little bit of both, um, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see over in Crystal Vale. Have you mined yet over in Crystal Vale, Degs?
So I have, I mean, most of my non-profession heroes are gardeners. So a lot of them, if they're a warrior, paladin, whatever, they get sent to the mines. So I've done gold mining. I haven't done any jewel mining with them, but I'm really excited to see gold mining because gold means vendors, means alchemists, means potentially duels, and the other functions that they plan on having with gold. So happy to see the miners. Happy to see the gold on the left side of the screen be a number other than zero.
Yes, yes. And obviously, we're still hoping for the full items, and they might do it in parts. We were talking before the show here. They might do it in parts and just allow you to send the gold first, so we could, get your Serendale stock over into Crystal Vale. Because I believe a lot of people, I have some, a lot of people probably do have at least a little sitting in their Serendale side of things. So it's awesome. I have Crystal Mine 3 times and it's seeming pretty lucrative. Now I don't have a huge locked balance, so I think it's going to be more beneficial price wise for me to mine gold actually. Um, but the projected amounts it's giving me, I don't know if this is a bug potentially. I don't know what's going on, but it seems every time I'm getting that bonus, the jackpot or whatever they call it. So I could be wrong. But each time it seems to be at least 3 times or so more than what I was projected to get. Because let me see if I can show you guys real quick. As you probably know, does anyone have stamina? Okay, he does. It shows you this
Yippee.
amount, the approximate total crystal unlocked. And most of my actual miners are getting like 0.03, but when they collect their rewards, it's actually closer to zero point 0.1. So it's about 3 times what it's approximating for me. So pretty
The
cool, but
dev team do have a habit of boosting rewards upon release for a few days, though.
true. That could be what's going on. Good point. But are you happy with the team's speed here? I was extremely excited to see this out already. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, once they fully committed to the parody, I've been impressed with their speed. Um, and I'm excited for the full parody so that they can just get back to building the new features. Really, um,
Yeah,
yeah. I
definitely.
mean, I'm happy to see it. I like the speed. I like and they tell us what they're gonna do, and then they do it, and that's really
Facts.
all I've kind of been asking. You know.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. I was expecting, if anyone's been here as long as we have, mining and gardening, the time in between those new quests wasn't short, and they were building it from scratch then. Here they usually have, of course, the code from the old chain, and it might be a few tweaks. We've talked about this before. Sometimes it could be more difficult than just a few tweaks, but this was extremely fast, and I was extremely satisfied with this parody here. So, which what item do we think is going to be next? Personally, I think we'll probably see um, a gold and an item bridge. I believe they want to get everything off of Harmony and Serendale as soon as possible with everything's going on. Um, what do you think, Dags? What item could you see at the top of their parody priority list?
So I think it's gonna be gold. I know we're gonna get into the AMA, but one of the things with the AMA is they wanted to get gold in here. They wanted to get a syntax. Was it syntax? Synapse. That's it. Synapse item bridge going for all items, but they want to get the vendor going. Um, and one of the things they said about the vendor that seemed pretty interesting was that the vendor will have like adjust their prices. Um, so that's kind of I'm
Yeah,
kind of interested in that too.
I noticed
Did
that.
you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that, and I didn't listen to it live. I did reread it, and I don't remember specific details. Was there anything you remember about like what it's like a purchase history? The vendor bases their prices off the purchase history or something along those lines?
Yeah, something like that because they don't want the vendors diluting the price. So I think as price goes up, the vendor price will increase. So make adjustments to that.
Okay.
A
Is
bit
this
of it
kind?
was.
Go on.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is it like an arbitrage, like avoidance thing? Like, is this kind of like prevention methods or?
It might be, but when they explained it, it kind of felt to me like they didn't want the price of items going down. Like you know, the price of what is it? Is it that milkweed that you get from gardening? Like the price is insane right now, and they don't want the vendor to come in and just completely alter that. If it's supposed to be high because of rarity, because a vendor can ruin rarity.
Uh huh.
Um, and they want to avoid situations like that.
Okay. I mean, they're thinking ahead, which is what I always loved about the team. They kind of think a few steps forward, which and especially after the hindrances we have had, I think this is even more of a priority for them to kind of think about things before they happen and use as many preventative measures as they possibly can. Um, but yeah, definitely, we're hoping to see gold in order to kind of boot up duels to come into Crystal Vale as soon as possible. That a lot of people are excited about duels, and it does suck the timeline of the events that happened on chain and everything because we were just getting into the duels hype, and some things happened, and we're here in this bear market currently, so we're fighting through. The teams fight through. I do love to see it. But speaking of Serendale, of course, and everything that happened, where are we gonna land, Eggs? What's our new home gonna be? And I mean, I guess, do you think Crystal Vale is quote unquote our new home because we're gonna be having the housing of Jewel as the gas there, and this new chain is. I mean, if Serendale looks the same, I guess it'll feel like home. But to me, it'll look like home. But I feel like Crystal Vale feels like home now.
So I know they don't want it on Avalanche because they want it to be on different chains because when they send the AMA, they just want you to be on the chain that offers you the best experience. So if that's Crystal Vale at the time on the DFK network, do it. If it's Serendale with wherever they go, um, do it. So they're going to be going somewhere that offers, that kind of gives you like a good experience. So I don't think that's going to be like Ethereum. I don't think, it's obviously not going to be Avalanche because they don't want both of them on there. I don't know. I keep hearing what is it? Which one has Matic? Is that Polygon? And
Polygon?
then yeah, Polygon, and then some other chains that I don't know. Like I said, I've said this time and time again. I'm a gameplay guy, so kind of kind of trying to figure out what chain they're going to. I that's kind of out of my realm.
Yeah, especially when they're staying real ghostly about it. They're keeping it real private, real quiet because they don't want, in case it does fall through, you don't want to get people hyped and send a lot of their assets over or something in anticipation and then get fucked in the long run. So, you don't want that. I I'm not familiar with Polygon either. I have heard that seems to be what people believe to be the front runner. But I know I've bought Polygon Matic a few times, maybe traded it right away or something. I don't play any GameFi on there. I don't even know if there is GameFi. I believe one of the other projects I have a small bit of investment in is Knights and Peasants, and I believe they're moving to Polygon as well, so they might see the same kind of benefits. Not sure about their GameFi history at all, but what I do know, I don't know this for sure either. Again, this is just what I've heard, and I'm not very experienced on the Polygon chain, but I believe people said gas might be a little higher, but maybe the security is better. Maybe um, you don't know. We don't know until we see it, unless you have history about it, and we sadly don't have any. If you do, let us know in the comments down below, and just tell us what you think of Polygon, or if you have another chain you think is their leader. We'd love to hear it, because me personally, um, as you know, I'm experienced on Harmony. I know about AVAX a little, and that's just really about it as far as GameFi goes. Other than that, I'm buying, a few BSC coins and Ethereum and Bitcoin. Those are the main runners for me personally. But um, so we'll have to see. I'm okay if it is Polygon. I think people
Yeah.
do have good opinions about Polygon for the most part. So I'm not trying to say that's a bad choice, but we just don't know. So we'll have to see overall.
Yeah, and when they did the first expansion and we found out it was Avalanche, people were talking Polygon, they were talking Avalanche, they were talking what is it, Phantom.
Correct.
But then just kind of in the Twitter space, what I've seen, I mean, Solana does have some GameFi, so I mean, I wouldn't. There's like you can't really rule anything out, even if it's ones they haven't talked before. But they're definitely playing this close to the chest. Like they are not telling us where this is going.
Yeah, nothing,
Um,
no information.
well, I mean, one piece of information they have given out is Jewel's not going anywhere. So wherever they move, they don't want to dilute Jewel was their first concern, and they don't want to get rid of Jewel because with Jewel, they were originally planning on wherever we went, that was, Jewel was going to be replaced. But then as they started working on it, they found out how incredibly difficult it is to change the gas on an established chain.
Yeah.
So DFK chain actually ended up being like Jewel's saving grace because I think they were just going to ditch it. Um, that was sounding like that was their original plan, and now they're like, oh yeah, we can't because we've already established a chain where it's the form of gas.
Phew. That's crazy because I
That
feel
was
like
alarming. I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm honestly surprised to hear that. I didn't know that because I mean, people who do believe in the project, if you think about the game, and you do believe during this bear market that there could be light at the end of the tunnel, I would think the coin you'd be buying would be Jewel. Like that would be the one you'd be like, okay, I need more of that in preparation down the road. If you're thinking long term, but that
Or heroes.
or Heroes, yeah, that both of those assets. Heroes kind of like earning you some, so there is that ROI instead of just holding Jewels. So you're definitely right there. But
So it's like heroes the call now because they still don't know what they're gonna do with Jewel, but it seems like no matter where they go, you'll be able to bridge your heroes there.
right, it's a great point. I mean, these assets, and they always talk, even if things go horrendously wrong, they can take these snapshots and kind of keep these owners owning these NFTs and just switch the contract, switch the art, send it over to the new chain. So I think you're right there. I think that's a very good point. And you yourself just bought a few heroes, didn't you, during these times?
I did a bit of a forager floor sweep because I mean my Gen Zero lets me get a lot of fishers, but I was kind of weak on foragers, so I
Okay.
bought like a set. so that I could do one more like set of six. Um,
I like
and I
it.
was just
Balance the
kind of
squad out.
yeah, and I was just gonna have them do professions. So I was just looking, what is foraging like intelligence and dex.
Hmm.
So a lot of like wizards, priests. I think I found like a dex ninja, archers. So yeah, I got another full squad.
Love to hear it, man. You know, I've tried to buy as many as I could, as many as I can allow myself to do in these bear markets, and it is a risky. When I spoke earlier, I don't know. I do think it is a risky investment when we put things just in the nature of how crypto is, and we the GameFi space especially. I mean, it's up in the air. You never know. I'm not gonna fud my own bags or nothing, but you got to be real with yourself at the same time. You don't know the scope of where GameFi can go, really. I think they have a good team that understands what they have to do as far as an ecosystem and a marketized ecosystem, um, and the gameplay is coming, and I think that'll be crucial to see with a whole scope of a game here when PvP is out. The market, the ecosystem is all running pretty optimally. I think it's just that PvP step away. Once that comes and we get that full picture, I think then you'll be able to tell and really know how the GameFi space can exist and if it can at all, in this crypto space because it's all up in there. Um, do you think long term GameFi is here to stay?
So I've been reading Ready Player One lately. Have you read that before?
I never have, but I've heard great things and I need to.
It's essentially a GameFi universe. And it's like it's like they have like it's in the Oasis is what they call it, and it's like they have all these planets, they have these universes, and it's like DFK would be like its own universe, right, where it has its own quests, it has its own items, and they can all be brought into other games. Um, and I think that could be a potential reality. Where people just don't want to interact with the real world anymore. They just want to turn internally to that kind of metaverse. Hate to say the word, but but um, yeah, I mean this is the start, and that's why I'm here. Like I always tell people I'm here for the PvP, and then they're like, well, why haven't you left? Because this, it's like all the people who fought DFK, and I'm like, how does leaving progress us to that state where you know yeah, how cool would it be if I could take my ever yeah I'm not I loved EverQuest, so I'm gonna say EverQuest, my EverQuest items from when I was 10 and bring them into DFK.
Right.
Like that would be awesome. So it's like, and it's like it's got to be cross chain, it's got to be games. But even with the games, like they had like chat rooms where you're just sitting in a room and you're using like Sims characters stuff or stuff you got from Sims. It could be social games. It just doesn't. It could be social stuff. It's just there's no way this is gone. There's
Yeah,
no way.
I mean, I feel like we're kind of being like the old men at the table here. I mean, not necessarily with their opinions, but kind of thinking about this because I mean, I'm very bullish on GameFi, and I don't think it's going away. And you made a lot of great points that kind of brought me back to my thoughts. You know what I mean? I was kind of being that old man at the table for a second, but you know, when they thought the internet wasn't here to last, like there's CEOs of big banks and tech companies that used to think that, and look
The
around
internet's
and
a fad.
look what we have. Like we literally everyone of age, has a smart computer or a supercomputer basically in their pocket, So I don't think, and especially look at the gaming universe, if people find out, and we're just the early people that have to go through the struggles in a sense. I fully believe that it's not easy financially sometimes to watch your bags go like this, and what you thought could have been wonderful investments kind of take a stall out and sit pretty low for a while. It's not easy, but um, when people learn, think of how many gamers there are in the world. When people learn that this is legit and you can play a game and you can earn a little money while doing it and it's fun and it's just like any other game in a sense, the market's going to be huge, and these companies that do make just simple games and have in-game currencies will instead move it to a monetized sense because at the end of the day these game companies are capitalistic and they want to make money, they want to make their buck, and and they're making good games, so why shouldn't they? I don't think it's going away. The idea of being able to game and make money as far as like YouTube and Twitch is hot with you know adults, even with children. They all love it. They all want to be able to do that. That's like a dream job for a lot of kids nowadays because they're so built on computers. So I don't think it'll go away. um,
Well, even throw out the money and just think of what do you think people are going to do when they find out they can bring their Spartan from Halo, give them their, their sword that they earned from a raid and bring that into Fortnite.
right. That's gonna be insane. Like,
Yeah.
and Fortnite really is
And
setting a
it's
precedent.
unique too.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one else has that because it's all backed by the chain, unique, item. Um
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's going to be
insane.
huge because people love to show off features, even if it's not necessarily a battle enhancer. Like, people love the rarest skins. Counter Strike, I mean, even Fortnite has skins, I'm sure, that are like legacy skins or whatever that you can't really get anymore. Um, and a lot of these games do that with cosmetics. Doesn't even necessarily have to be gameplay enhancing, but man, those things, people love to have something someone else doesn't, like even collect down to a collector's state. There's so many points that just point to GameFi not going away. If you keep a closed mind and kind of focus on what's going on in the now, yeah, you're gonna have a negative outlook. You're gonna be scared and you're gonna want to sell or get out. But you have to think of when things were great, how easy it was for someone to be like, wow, that's interesting. I want in. When things are hard, it's a lot different. It's a lot harder to show people what could be. So
Yeah, and like you got to think too, like the early video games. How many crap games were there? You remember having like the Tiger handheld, where it was like there was blips on the screen, and there would just you if you like tilted it so that light was shining on it, you could see like the pre-made character on
yeah,
there, and all it would do was move from those three spots. You didn't know what the hell you were pushing. Those were shit. Um, and like we're dealing with a program here that's not shit.
yeah,
We got
this,
the you know um, and it's like this could be part of the big push.
yeah, for sure. And it kind of makes me hyped just to think about that. Might not necessarily be the best project. We don't know what's to come, but um, like it might not be the leader of the whole GameFi space, but just to be a part of it and be a part of something kind of bigger for the whole gaming world, I guess, and the crypto space at the same time. I love it. I love it, and I'm not going anywhere. I think a lot of people feel the same. Um, but anyways, it's a lot of good metaverse, I guess you could say again, metaverse talk. But let's get back to some more strictly DFK here. Another controversial thing, I guess. Point here with the Gen Zeros. I didn't listen to the AMA, but you informed me a little bit about things here. So the heroes number 1 through 20, obviously they had some different genes and such, some passives, actives, or whatever, with advanced, transcendent, elite, or whatever. So people were asking for the re-roll of those. Update us on what's going on with that.
Yeah, I just sent you a link. Let's get this on screen. I just sent you
Definitely.
DFK Tavern. If you can jump into that.
Let me pull it up for us.
All right, and then go to the Go Machar Hero Rankings. Or yeah, I don't know how to say that. GOK. All
Hmm.
right, go ahead and type in let's type in Hero 19 and then hit enter.
All right.
All right, here's the issue. So your first column, you have their active traits, and then you have all these recessives. So this guy, I don't know who this is, but they have one active, one active, or no, so they don't have any. Sorry, I said that wrong. The first row is their current, is their dominant,
This is what
right?
appears. This is what
Mm-hmm.
actually exists.
Yeah, and I got my kid yelling in the background. Whatever. Let's talk through it. But if you look at all the recessives, there's advanced, there's elite, there's transcendent. So that makes it easier to get a Gen 1 with advanced traits or elite traits. And that's the problem, is these were special and only 1 through 20 has this. Oh, you went to Freya's hero. I know that one by heart.
So she's got some advance and a transcendent sitting
That
on the
is
active
Freya,
too.
right? Go up. Is it a
Does it
thief?
tell you? It is. It's the
Mythic
mythic
thief. Yeah,
thief.
that's totally Freya's. Yeah. So then the offspring of these are stronger, right?
Hmm.
And then go to like 21, and you'll see immediately the difference.
So this would be the first. Yeah, just
Nothing.
crazy. So it's a dead giveaway, and people probably simply one day were like, "Oh, I want to see what the best or the initial heroes looked like," and they're like,
So these
"Okay,
were dev
wow,
specials, right? I think these were only given to
too
like early people,
transcendent."
like devs, like
Yeah,
yeah. So
the
like one of these,
team, maybe
and I think
initial
they were able to
investors.
custom choose their like professions, their
I mean, yeah,
rend
it's plain as day.
their,
Strength and endurance on a minor. Like, I mean, if you
yeah,
knew
they were able to
anything about the
pick.
mechanics, a little different here. Nothing actually that makes sense for this gardener. So maybe they didn't know about the mechanics.
Maybe they didn't care.
Maybe they didn't care. Maybe they
Because I
wanted
mean,
to
I'm
balance it a
assuming
little.
one. Who owns one? Let me jump in on the tavern and
Yeah,
see who
check
owns one.
on the actual tavern. So 4, this guy again, I'm assuming 3 and 4 might be owned by the same person. They took strength and endurance. So
Which makes it you want to rent this hero.
yeah, this is the perfect hero. A Gen 0 is strength and endurance as a minor. And then to have all this sitting in their recessives, I mean, it's
Yep.
pretty nuts. So basically, what they're going to do, you said, um, is the whole tree. Any hero that is a descendant of these heroes will have their just that gene that's affected. Like,
Yes.
okay, so that could be like say just just passive 1, could be just
Yeah, they'll
active 1 and
re-roll it.
active 2. Does that apply for the professions? Like,
No. So the only issues that people had were with the genes because that's the only place they got the unfair advantage.
so ability
Um,
genes, I guess, if we're like
right, right.
we're
So,
pinpointing it.
um, yeah. So those genes will be re-rolled. I think they said they'll be random, and I think they were talking about some form of compensation with like atonement crystals or not, or they didn't go into too much detail because I mean people keep asking about this. It's
Yeah,
like every anime or every other anime, but it's not a priority. You know, it makes me mad that there are heroes like this that exist. It makes me mad. You know, they went to the devs, but give me a game to play.
yeah,
This isn't a priority for me,
I'm
and it
with you.
shouldn't be a priority for the team, but it seems to be like a priority for the witch hunt that are some of the DFK players.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't blame them because I don't think they should let it go away. I think it is something that should be addressed, but yeah, no priority. And again, unless it comes out that like these heroes are getting profession, there's nothing that we know of as far as active 1, active 2, passive 1, passive 2 that affect anything that's going on in the game currently. If that
that's what
comes
they
out,
said.
and they have said that, yeah, exactly. If that comes out that there is a difference or an effect, I think that could be another thing that people will be very pissed about. So I hope that doesn't happen. And I again, there's no existing knowledge of that. But the
But the
fact that they said
problem
1 to
is the descendants of the descendants.
yes,
And it's like this gene pool gets diluted. You don't even know if you have an affected hero. I could be excited about my dragoon that just got like an elite trait,
mm-hmm,
right? And then it turns out that the first line, right? Let's say it was like a Gen 4, and then like turns out the Gen 1 was straight out of these guys. That sucks because
yeah,
I might lose that elite trait on that dragoon.
yeah, that's nuts. So it
But
looks
and that's why it's an issue because these continue to get rented out and then their descendants get rented out. And unless you're tracking your I mean, adventures in DFK, they have a way for you to track all the way back,
the whole tree.
right? Yeah, and you could technically do it from the bar keep as well. But I don't want to do that every time I rent a hero.
Yeah,
So it's
no.
kind of like it's kind of just like a quality of living thing, you know just knowing that the hero you have has the genes that you have. And one of the things they say, I'm like, well, that stuff's not even in game yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're not gonna go ahead and break our backs when we want to get Crystal Veil fully operational. We want to get the new chain. We want to get PvP out.
Yeah,
Once PvP's out, then these abilities will matter. Then they'll make the change. I don't think this change happens till after PvP,
I'm
and
with
I
you.
think the community's just gonna keep complaining about it. But
It
you
is what it
know,
is. They address it and they address it professionally, and I'm okay with that.
that number one hero, the Luck Thief gardening, that was frisky.
Okay, Friskies. Nice, nice. So 20, I think you said it was 1 through 20. 20 actually doesn't have any existing. So I wonder if they will do 1 to
Maybe it
19.
was. Maybe it
Maybe
was.
they,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah, and I think one of these has been purchased by somebody else. Like I think it has changed
That's
hands.
wild.
I want to say it was like number 19 or like 17 or something like that. Let me check because you can go to the hero details and look at the sales.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, crazy stuff.
But can you
Um,
imagine the person who bought that Gen Zero knowing that it had these underlying traits and you
yeah, and that was
overpaid for
probably an
it, and
incentive for him, like in a sense, like you'd want that
now
hero
you're gonna
because
get
of
an
that.
atonement crystal for it?
Yeah, I mean, I would be pissed. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie at all. So it's a double-edged sword. You can't satisfy everyone. I feel like someone's gonna be mad in this situation. The investor or maybe the dev team, they might understand because it is their project and they have to do what's right. But someone who went out and spent the money for one of these coveted early heroes, it could be a rough spot. They might have to. I don't know. We'll have to see.
And there was kind of controversy in the beginning. I think one of the devs did sell their Gen Zero, and there was, sorry about the noise. There was there were repercussions for that. Like they took disciplinary action,
Oh wow.
and they were like these were supposed to be held until like I think they were supposed to hold them for like 3 years or something like that. Was
Hmm.
like the plan, and they didn't put anything. They didn't put a lock on it. They just thought that I don't know, and then like yeah, so really interesting. And it's not just devs. I think it's like early supporters and like people important to the project.
Yeah, potentially investors maybe. So I don't know. We don't know everyone who owns one, but interesting stuff. Interesting to see when and how they'll fully deal with it, but
Yeah, like Flu
we'll
has number
find out.
14. He's not a dev.
Crazy flu and
Yeah, I
flu.
think, but I mean, he was like early. I think he was early support. Um, I think he, I think he was an early financial backer though.
Yeah, he's
Like
big
he
in the
was
one space
really,
here.
yeah, he was really big and he was really important to the project because like the first when I first got into this, right? I got into this. I think the week after Gardens went live, is when I got in. And I thought he was Frisky Fox. Like that's he was big. Like he was running AMAs, he was doing live summons to giveaways. Now now I know he was like social media, um, but yeah, like so it's not just devs. It's just big names, top I guess 19 top people.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember thinking the same thing. He was very big in the space and was always hyped about DFK. I think he's still, with recent news, he let people know that he might be taking a back seat and one. He still supports the chain and everything, but some things went on, I believe. I'll refer to his tweet for exact details. I'm not quite sure, but um, as far as I know, I think he still is bullish about DFK and it will follow them around, but not very satisfied with what's going on in the Harmony 1 space, from what I know. But um, going to another DFK topic here, what price range do you think would be ideal? We've talked about this in the server a few times. What price range would be ideal for Jewel and Crystal in order for it to be prosperous long term in the GameFi space?
That is all up to the devs. Like if Jewel's just the way you buy everything, right? Jewel and gold. Um, I want to see it under $10, just from someone who's not rich, someone who likes to play the game, someone who has a Gen Zero and wants to, has to rent another Gen Zero and likes to summon with it. I don't want to see I don't want to see $20. And even when it was $20, I was telling my friends, I was like, you guys missed it. Don't buy in. It has no business being this high. Um, but yeah, I want to see under $10. I know a lot of the community won't agree with me, uh, but just from someone who, I'm like middle class, have 3 kids to pay for before I pay for this. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Um, unless, like I said, that's up to the devs. Unless they, implement a system where there's some other token where you do a majority of your purchases and then jewels just for I guess summoning or something. I don't know. As cool as $100 jewel would be, as a gamer, it doesn't make monetary sense to me. I wouldn't want to play.
Yeah.
What
And
about you?
I agree. I think also if we were to see that before mass adoption comes in as far as this game goes, like say we saw even $20 Jewel again, I think that could be very bad as far as dilution goes. A lot of like a small amount of people would own a lot of the hero pool, and it would be very, very tough for new investors or new just players. That kind of changes the scope of things, but new players to get in and begin playing and buying heroes. So I think we need to see it. I mean, shoot, if it's stuck around 1 to 3 to 5, under 10, I think that's fine. Anywhere in there, it's affordable, and obviously, as far as like an investment standpoint, I'd love to see it go higher and get a little bit of return from these heroes that we've bought either low, or some of them we've bought in the 10s and 15s. I know most of us have at least. Um, my initial hero, I believe, was bought at 7, and I've probably bought a hero upwards of at 15 when Jewel was at $15. So. Um, and anywhere in between. So, um, obviously,
Yeah.
no financial advice from us on this podcast. Definitely make your own decisions. But um, I think as far as for a gameplay standpoint, I'd pinpoint around $2 to $10 is where I'd like the price.
And they were supposed to have like a non-hero class for you to do professions and other things. That was in early talks, but they've just kind of gotten away from it.
So,
And I feel like anyone who's here just as a strictly investor, I feel like most of those people have moved on.
mhm.
So at this point, I think this game's for the gamers. Imagine that, a game for gamers.
Yeah,
Like
it's kind of how it
so.
should be.
And I mean that kind of that could kind of move us into our next topic, unless you wanted to keep talking about this. We had a shout out to Crunchwrap asking us that question. Should we go in that now, or
Yeah,
should we
let's
hold
go
that
into
till
that.
later?
Crunchwrap.
So why summoning sucks if you have anything except a Gen Zero? What are your thoughts on summoning?
So me, I have not summoned that much. I've gotten into it more now since Jewel is at where it's at, and when I want a new hero, and if I want to gamble a little bit, I'll summon. I've been trying to get a summoner. I've really wanted a summoner. I went for um, a dragoon the other day actually with a paladin and a dark knight, and was
How'd it go?
unsuccessful, but it was good. I got an uncommon. It wasn't a dragoon, but it was fun, and I enjoy the thrill of the chase always. And again, getting back to that point, this is a game, so gamers play. So I was all for it. I spent a little bit of Jewel. Good hero overall. It did end up being, I believe, a paladin miner, so not awful. I'll take it. Uncommon, but it's part of the game. But yeah, I think. What was the question I was even asking, or you were even asking? I'm sorry. I
Do
just
you
go
think
on and on.
summoning sucks unless you have a Gen
So
Zero?
I think it's fun. I like summoning. I've never summoned with a Gen Zero, so I don't know. But um, I guess this question's better for you. What do you think?
Yeah, so I only have one Gen Zero. I say only, but if you want, like, summoning is awesome if you have two, because I still have to pay rental fees, right? And that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. So I actually think summoning with a non Gen Zero, like, I think your ideal summon is if you have two Gen ones and they both have somewhere between 6 to 10 remaining summons. I think that's like the sweet spot. Um, because then you know what you have. You already got the hero that you want. You know what genes are going through. Like, if like my Gen Zero, he's a knight with a subclass of priest. Oh, that's another thing. We got to talk about subclasses. They mentioned that again. Maybe we don't need to talk about that, but another time. So he's a priest fishing with dual wisdom, right? And so it's like if I get trying to get like a minor, right? I still run the risk of there's a chance both of this guy's boosts can be wisdom, which
Right.
sucks. Versus if I go and I pick up a knight that's mining and just one of the stats is boosted, either strength or endurance, then I can kind of balance that out with the warrior. And you know, I'm not spending all that money. Of course, if I'm buying a 10 out of 10 hero, what is that price? I don't even know what that floor is. Is it still like 100, 110?
Let's take
Do
a
you
look.
know?
Are you talking just Gen 1, 10 out of 10s? Well,
Go
that's the
Gen 1,
that's the
10
only
out of
way they could
10.
be.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, wrong site. One sec. There's a few sites I believe you could take a look at this, but I love DF King. So we're looking for a 10 out of 10. Gen 1. Should just be all Gen 1s if I search. Floor's not actually lower than I
That's
expected.
Jewel though. That's Jewel. That's not
Or
Jewel.
this is
That's Crystal.
crystal. Okay, so yeah.
So it's higher.
102 jewel, 80 crystal. Don't know. This is bugged with DF King lately. I think it's with the new classes.
I'm just gonna look in the Serendale market. Okay, floor for a 10 out of 10, 102, 110, 111, 117.
Okay, so we're still in the hundreds there. You know, and if I'm paying, what's the floor for a Gen 0 summon? It's probably like, it depends. I think like Wizards and Priests are like, I think they're like 16 jewel, and then the Warriors and Knights is always high. I think it's like 25 this year, or I don't know, maybe it's 20. But you know, it's like you summon 5 times and you might as well have paid for a damn Gen 1 at that
Right.
point. You know, plus it's easier to kind of, it's easier to match the abilities or the genes, right? Do you don't have that? Hey, let's go into this one more time. Hang on. Can I steal the screen from you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at my hero. My hero's number 308. All right. We're gonna look for minimum summons of 11. We're gonna do Gen 0 only, and I'll look for 3 abilities that match. Okay. Now here's what the issue is, right? I'm only, so he's a knight, so I'm gonna look at warriors. And let's see here. All right. So if you look, there's one warrior. Oh wait, no, hang on. Let me change the request here. I got to include cooldowns. So you can ignore the summon cooldown. So the one other that matches, I know there's 2. So the other one must have summoned recently. So here we go. And we'll view. So what I'm looking at now, for people who aren't familiar with this program, is I am looking for other heroes that match my active 1, my active 2, my passive 1, and my passive 2. So you see a basic 3 here. That means I have a basic 4 as my active 1. Basic 2 here means I have a basic 1 as my active 2. B5 means that I have a basic 6, so we want to match basic 5. And there are 2 Gen 1s that match my hero that I could potentially get 3 mutations to get an advanced skill instead of basic. And I have to wait for these 2 guys to put their dudes up for rent. And they never do. I think one of them's like Harambe, and then the other person is, I don't know who this other one is. So yeah, this mythic I think is Harambe, and Harambe always summons, never rents this guy out. And then this other one, I've tried to locate them on Discord. Like you have no means to talk to them. So Gen 0, if you only have 1, you're searching for like the unicorn, right?
That's
Now if
tough.
we open this up for 2 summons or 2 mutations, so let's be a little less picky.
That's gotta be tough. It's funny though you say that because I wonder if there's any like people that are waiting on you, to list yours. Oh,
So we open it up a bit here, and it's a little nicer. There's a bigger list of 2 mutations. Right? I think is there like a hero 107? Yeah, here. This hero is cool. Number 700 because they're mining, so I could try to get the more mining gene. I have a seer as my subclass, so they have berserker. We can try to get the shapeshifter subclass, and then they have a
dang.
warrior, right? So they match an active 1 and active 2. However, this hero, one, it's going to cost me 60 jewel just to do the summon, right? 30 from me, for my hero, 30 for their hero. And this hero usually only goes up for about 100 jewel when they when they rent it. A lot of these are legendary. They get expensive. A lot of them are minors. Those are expensive, and knights and warriors are just expensive when you're renting them anyway. So it's like, at what point is it better just to buy the Gen 1? That way I know what both heroes have. I can match the abilities perfectly if I wanted to. Um, and if it's yeah, I mean, I honestly I don't think summoning sucks. To answer the question, long way around it, I don't think summoning sucks unless you have a Gen 0. I think summoning sucks if you only have one Gen 0. And I think if you have anything that's not Gen 0, you're allowed to tailor that experience the way that you want it to be. And I think that's the best way to summon, is not with a Gen 0.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of echo off that because like that's the one good thing I do like about summoning, especially when it got cheaper. I could kind of pinpoint what I was going for, and even by the portal, you once that hero comes through, you can almost tell if it's a good one. Obviously, you have to wait for the ability portion to come through, but it's quick and it's fun and it's a thrill. I think summoning is fun. I know that's not the question, but I also don't think summoning sucks. I think it's a brilliant system put in this game. So, Crunchwrap also spoke about PvP, PvE potentially. We haven't talked about it in a while. So maybe do we want to go into like the scope of what it's supposed to be? You want to talk about that for a little bit?
I can't remember his question exactly. Did he ask if it was just going to be like a mini game?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I know you guys were just chatting in there a little bit. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can see
Okay,
specifically what he
yeah.
wanted.
He said, are they putting all their eggs into the PvP basket? Because because I had mentioned, like, he had talked about what he had summoned, and then I said, well, I only pretty much summon PvP heroes right now because the devs made it sound like professions should whittle down in importance once the quests and the PvP are out, and he was kind of surprised by that, and he was kind of like, and he was like, okay, so they're putting all their eggs in the PvP basket. What do you think PvP is going to be like? Is it just going to be another mini game like Duels, or actual gameplay involved? And I think they've been pretty clear about that. It's going to be a gambit system like Final Fantasy 12,
Hmm.
where you create conditional statements, you order them by priority, and then your heroes execute, which I think is awesome.
A lot of strategy in that. I agree. Never played one per se, but when Squanch and Agentic back in the day showed me this is Final Fantasy 12, correct? I just want to make sure I'm
Yeah,
saying it right.
12.
Okay, when they showed me this system, it was intriguing. I love those games, those really strategic. One turn makes a lot of difference. It could potentially be a make or break, and just strong strategy overall. I love that kind of stuff. So a lot of high IQ players, a lot of good strategic core gameplay, and especially with all the hero classes and everything, I think they can make this really really cool. So I like it.
Yeah, yeah. And I love games where it's like you influence what your characters do, whether or not they actually do it. Like, so there's like a civilization builder called RimWorld where you can't control your civilizations, or you can't control your civilians. You tell them what they should prioritize and they do it. Hopefully, there's like Ogre Battle 64 where you do the same thing, and then Final Fantasy 12. So, like, if anyone listening wants to kind of look into what we're talking about, where it's kind of like, like that Gambit system, those are a few games you might want to look some gameplay up on.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be exciting. I think even if it's not, you know, more like a battle system, like for example Pokemon, or each turn you got to do
Yeah,
something like DFK Fight Club, which is another great third-party game in this ecosystem. Even if it's not like that, I think a lot of people will find enjoyment and just to see how their team performs.
yeah.
Give it a set of criteria, put your best heroes forward, and see how they battle. It's gonna be fun.
But yeah, I mean, and then there's going to be meta between which Gambit systems you set up too.
Hmm.
And then there's going to be subclass meta too, because they mentioned subclass will give you access to that class's ability pool in a limited fashion. So it's like, I'm pissed right now because I have a knight priest, right? And I hate the priest when I level up, because I don't want wisdom, I don't want intelligence. But what if that ends up, with a priest letting my knight, cast haste or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So, we don't know what kind of meta is going to evolve either, because we just don't have the PvP information.
Right.
So it's like there's going to be meta around the gambits. There's going to be meta around subclass. There's going to be, primary class, subclass pairings that are the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could get crazy.
It's gonna be fun. I'm super excited still. Um, had a few segues where we had to veer off and prioritize other things, but you know, I can't wait. No timeline really per se. Um, Keeping the fingers crossed on some more news in upcoming AMAs, but we'll have to see. Super excited. Great questions from Crunchwrap there. Appreciate it. Um, as always, guys, if you want us to cover something, drop it in our Discord. Drop it in the Topics for Podcast channel. It's over in the Town Crier section of our Discord. So I think unless you have any other topics, anything else you wanted to cover, I think that just about wraps it up.
There was one thing I wanted to just bring up, just for our listeners. They mentioned that they are going to be changing some of the Crystal Vale gardens. They're looking at bringing in some Ethereum-based gardens, I believe, and then as they had scheduled and planned, they are starting to reduce the Jewel X Jewel liquidity pools. So if you're heavy in those, you might want to start prepping. They said they weren't going to just kind of do that on the drop of a hat. They were going to give people 24-hour notice before they changed the reward percentages and the pools and all that, the allocations. But that is something to look into. If you're heavy in the gardens, you might want to take a quick read through on the AMA and make sure you're prepared for some changes in the reward percentages and changes in what tokens or coins are set for pairs.
Yeah, definitely. Good update there. Keep an eye out on your current investments, of course, um, and yeah, check the official DefiKingdoms Discord for any more information or links to any relevant documents in terms of that. Thank you for that, Daggs. Awesome episode here. Um, as always, guys, if you enjoyed, uh, definitely subscribe to the podcast and hope you guys have a great day in the kingdom here. And until next time, we'll see ya.
Yeah, thanks for coming for the not financial advice.
Bye, guys.